Hey there, welcome to this week's episode of 180 and 180. I'm Bill Wallace. And on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, I wanted to talk a little bit about his legacy and actually something that I think he might say relates to Jesus' legacy as well. And that's the idea that oftentimes we can take just a piece of their story, some of their words, and try to focus on that instead of seeing the whole story. A lot of people have said much better than I that one of the challenges of Dr. King's legacy in our day today is that, well, one, it's only focused on for a single day instead of throughout the year. And then two, that there seem to be some famous quotes, some famous phrases that so many of us love and gravitate towards. And those are the things we seem to focus on this particular day. And those quotes are great, they're powerful, and they are certainly part of his legacy, but they are not the whole story. Dr. King was a very complex individual who had incredibly challenging things to say to all kinds of Americans, particularly those of us in positions of privilege. And if we just focus on the ones that make us feel good or challenge us a little bit, and in so doing we ignore the things that really challenge us way more than we might be comfortable, then we are doing a terrible disservice to his legacy. And again, I think he would say that happens very much for Jesus as well. That is so much of Jesus' story. All kinds of people, Christians and non-Christians, gravitate to a number of the things that Jesus say that we can all appreciate, that we can all be a little challenged by, but see as really good and positive things. So many people love the idea that there is no greater love than one can have than to lay down your life for your friends. Oh, that's a powerful part of Jesus' message. But there's another part of Jesus' message where he says to his followers he's going to separate them into sheep and to goats. And at least in that particular story, it's based on what people do or do not do. Well, that's a very challenging thing indeed. So, is it just that, or is it the other piece? Or, well, of course, it's all of it together. And that's the whole point. With Jesus or with Dr. King or with other folks, are we willing to really dive into the whole story? Are we willing to hear all that they might have to say to us? Because I think in so doing, that's where we really might hear their full message. So, on this day, and then honestly throughout this week, I hope you hear something from Dr. King that is a little bit more challenging than you might otherwise normally hear. Really reflect on what his message might be to our world as it continues in today. And then again, for myself, I hope that you might consider that same thing when it comes to Jesus. That you might hear one of the stories from Jesus or come to church this next Sunday and hear a story from Jesus that is a little bit more challenging than perhaps you've heard before. But it tells a little bit more of Jesus' story and how that story can really make an impact on you.